Hey folks, welcome along to this video where I'm going to show you how easy it is to implement RAG in Vertex AI using grounding on Gemini, right? So for those of you that don't know what RAG is retrieval augmented generation. Essentially, that just improves the context that you give an LLM so that it can respond more accurately to queries that are given to it by its users, essentially, right? So traditionally, to do production level RAG, you need to use a vector DB, and all a vector DB basically does is it takes in data of any sort or any kind. It can be documents, text, images, or whatever the case might be, and it basically assigns embeddings, which are then basically chucked along an X and an Y axis and they're given coordinates, and then your LLM is meant to query the vector DB to get those embeddings to basically essentially understand the context of the query that it's basically receiving. However, the problem with doing production level RAG with vector DBs is that it can get quite complicated. It can be quite expensive if you're using Elasticsearch, Pinecone, or even Mongo, or even OpenSearch. However, we've got a solution. And for the rest of this video, I'm going to show you how to essentially set up Vertex AI using Gemini and using our own custom data set to basically use that data set as a tool and using grounding to essentially get highly accurate responses with Gemini. So I'm going to walk you through all of that throughout the entire GCP console. We're going to set up permissions. We're going to set up buckets. We're going to set up Vertex AI and have a whole bunch of fun. And to top it all off, I'm also going to show you how to incorporate Gemini into a React app as well. So essentially that React app will be a customer support agent that will enable us to basically respond to customer queries for an e-commerce site. So I know about you, but I'm excited to show you how powerful Vertex is. Cool. So without wasting any further time, let's crack on into the video and let's dig into how to set up Vertex AI on GCP. Okay, folks, so let's go ahead and get stuck in. So obviously make sure that you've set up your GCP account and you've got billing activated. Otherwise, you're going to have a tough time following along in this video. So cool, we're going to go ahead and search for Vertex. Will bring us to the Vertex AI dashboard. And then we're going to click custom search once you've clicked Vertex AI search. And then also go ahead and enable the Vertex AI API as well. So you get all the latest features. And then, so now we're just going to do some basic setup. So go ahead and fill in the name of your app. So yeah, I've named mine Oryx. And then we're going to link data store. So we're going to select cloud storage. So as you can see, lots of options. So we're going to select JSON-Null, and essentially the JSON-Null file that we'll be using is in the description. The link to it is in the description via the GitHub repo. So just go ahead and follow the steps to create a bucket. It should not be rocket science, and just leave all the options as default for now. I don't think you'll need retention, or you don't need things to be in a customized region for now. But obviously, if you're using a production use case, you'll just have to adjust it to your own business requirements. So yeah, just click all the default options. Yeah, don't worry about data encryption, and you're going to click confirm. Yeah, we want to enforce public access prevention on this bucket, maybe. Okay, cool. So we've got that out the way, and then we're going to go to cloud storage, and we're going to upload the JSON-Null file that you'll find in the GitHub repo, which the link is in the description. Okay, so go ahead and upload that JSON-Null file. So that's pretty much uploaded. So we're going to go ahead and then select the data store again. So we've selected JSON-Null. So now we can go into the Oryx reviews bucket and then select the JSON-Null file. And you should see it pop up over there. And you can see a bit of the schema as well. And you can confirm like which parts of the schema are going to be key columns and all that kind of jazz. But for now, we don't really need that, because we don't need hyper generalized hyper customized features. Cool. So we're gonna click create for data stores. Okay. And now we should have our application. So now that we have our application, let's go ahead and actually test this out in Vertex AI Studio. So just type in any prompt that you want. So in our case, we're just going to ask how many support tickets of type refund. So as you can see, it hallucinated there. So we want to select Vertex AI for customized grounding. And what you want to do is you want to add the Vertex data store. So it's a bit of a science in terms of figuring out what the name is, but it shouldn't be too tricky. Just hover around in the data store part of the console and then paste it in. They give you a bit of an example in terms of what it should look like. So let's resubmit this prompt. Boom! There are 20 support tickets of type refund. This is perfect, right? So let's go ask it all the refund reasons, and boom, it's given us all the refund reasons of those 20 support tickets, and it's also given us it has also given us grounding sources. So it's telling us exactly where it got this information from. So let's ask it the average ticket duration. So that's 3,307 seconds, the average ticket duration. So now they've also given us a bit of code snippets so that we can use in our application. So what I've done here is that I've set up a React app, essentially, to integrate this client-side library and Gemini into this React app that I'm going to run locally. Like I've mentioned, link to the GitHub repo is in the description. So just go ahead and scaffold an application in any framework of your choice, and vibe code that you want. Essentially a text box with a button that can accept messages to speak to an LLM or to send messages to an LLM. And I've essentially taken the code snippet and pasted it in this agent here in Cursor, and I've just given it instructions to basically integrate all of that stuff, all of that good stuff, essentially. So I've told it explicitly which messages it should use and which methods it should use to make it extremely dynamic as well. So let's go ahead and see. So it's busy creating a plan. So it's creating a couple of hooks. It's updating my app TSX file as well, which is brilliant. So I'm just going to go ahead and accept everything. And inside that hook, I think that's where our SDK is going to live. And I see I have a type error on line 64. So I'm just going to send that to the agent to fix it. So, okay, looks like I didn't have the types that are coming from the library that the method actually needed. So I'm not too interested in that. So here's our application. So now all we want to do is just see if we can get the same answer that we got in the console in our app, and then we should be off to the races. Okay, cool. So I don't think I've named my API key. I don't think I've prefixed it with Vite, so I'm going to quickly update that and then resend the query. Retrieval parameters not supported in Gemini API. Okay, cool. So let's search where have I used retrieval. This looks pretty correct. This is directly from their snippet. This seems like a bit of a problem. I think maybe I might be better off just going to the libs homepage. So let's just open that guy for safety. Let's scroll down, prerequisites. Okay, I shouldn't use this client side. That's good to know. Initialization, Vertex AI. You see there, we did not initialize Vertex AI. It's true. So, ladies and gentlemen, it still helps to just do the regular Google searches for things. Because, I promise you, I bet you the LLM or Cursor would not have helped me. So, cool. Above line 21, we're going to go ahead. Oh, look, it's already predicting that that's what I need. Cool, perfect. So we're going to set Vertex AI is true, reprompt the model, and it looks like we've got some permissions issues. So let's head over to the console. So make sure you choose the I am principal for Vertex AI. And all we want to do is just select the Discovery Engine View role and then add it to that I am principal. So we're just going to go ahead and click save and apply the proposed permissions. Retype in the prompt. Boom, 20 support tickets. This is perfect. Okay, so this is exactly what we got in the console. So I'm actually missing a system prompt. So let's go ahead and add a system prompt into this method. So in Gemini's case, it's called system instruction. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I am going to make that a backtick, put that in backticks rather, and I'm going to use some XML. So yeah, excuse my prompt. It's going to be really basic, or my system instruction. System prompt is going to be super basic. But first, we're just going to give this guy a role. And yeah, obviously, it's a customer support agent tool for an e-commerce website. And then I'm probably going to add some expected output or how it should respond back to people. So what I want to do is just look at the synthetic data set that I made. So I want to put response format in there. And then I'm basically telling it that I needed to tell me what the recommended resolution should be. So describe what you suggest based on the previous knowledge. And then the query type. So the query type can only be of like query, refund, or replacement. And then I'm just adding more data about how I want it to reason. So, I mean, 3 XML tags, pretty basic, nothing revolutionary happening over here. So let's just assess the data set again. Just one last time. Is there anything that I want to add? Probably not. So cool. There's a customer that is complaining that their shoes are not made of the right material. If I can learn to spell material right, that would help. As advertised, what would you recommend I do? Cool. So we've sent that guy off, and okay, cool. So at least we know that this is how it's responding correctly to how we were. So responding in the correct format that we needed to based on the instruction prompt. But it's confused as to whether it should be a refund or a replacement. So, which is fair, yeah, because obviously the action hasn't happened. So, but I want to know, can it tell me if there are similar support tickets of this in the past? So it looks to have lost its context, which is quite interesting. Cool. So I'm going to repaste the original prompt, and then in addition to it, ask it to give me similar support tickets. But those review IDs look fishy. So let's just do a quick Control F. Yeah, you see those reviews. So this thing is definitely hallucinating. So how do we go about debugging that? Hey, yeah, that's quite disappointing. That I mean, it was working earlier. Okay, so I think what I want to do is probably open up go inspect element quickly. Maybe no. Yeah, I think inspect element's going to be the best route to just basically see what the SDK is actually sending off to Gemini in the request. So okay, cool. I'm going to send off the prompt again. Cool. So let's go ahead and open up one of the requests over there. So that's the response. This is perfect. I can see that it's actually responding back to me. See the payload. You see that generation config is empty. And I think that's where we need to tell it to use the grounding dataset. Yeah. Cool. So I suspect if we go back to this hook over here, I think I can take this config out, because obviously we've made the generation config where we've added tools and whatnot. So I'm going to remove that from the config. Actually, yeah. So let's remove it from the config and then add it back to the generation config. So obviously I was overriding the config, so now we've added the instruction prompt. So this should work. And it should put us back on track. Otherwise, yeah, it'll be quite embarrassing making a video about RAG and the LLMs hallucinating. So cool, let's go ahead and reprompt the model with that initial prompt. Cool. So as you can see, all the tools are there, and our system instruction is there as well. Okay, this looks more like it. So the review IDs look accurate, and then similar recommended resolution. And then we can actually search for that ID. And as we can see, cool. That is that is pure RAG. That's good RAG right there. So it is actually going ahead and telling us or showing us where it got this recommended resolution from in the past. So and yeah, so this is good. So I hope you could see that like this was super easy to set up, literally. You don't need a PhD, and then also it's super cost effective, and the only way now is like to actually figure out how to do all of this via infrastructure as code. But this was extremely easy. This took literally less than an hour to set up, and now you've got a full RAG system using Gemini, and I'm using Gemini Flash Lite, by the way. You know, I'm not even using like the pro models and reasoning, and I haven't even fiddled around with the config to improve performances. And then obviously an additional upgrade that you might want to do is like, you know, probably make the annotations a bit neater and the prompt response a bit neater. And yeah, we could also improve the system prompt, but this is already like 70% of a decent AI system that we've built. It's just now the other 30% that would obviously just need a bit of work. All right, team. Whoa, that was a lot of fun. So let's just recap what we've learned. Essentially, we know how to set up a storage bucket on GCP and then link that storage bucket as a data source in Vertex AI, and using the server-side SDK rather, into a React app, we can easily query the SDK, right? So uh, really important, do not use that server-side SDK client-side because your API key will be exposed. So nonetheless, if you found this useful, smash the like button, drop us a comment, and also maybe subscribe. It costs you absolutely nothing. It's totally for free, and it helps me out a lot. Nonetheless, I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.